But at this point, you may be thinking, these are interesting technologies, but so what? Which brings me back to my original question, how can the PC help us reach our goal of just-in-time business? Let me propose that just-in-time business is achieved by computer-supported collaboration. Computer-supported collaboration is cooperative work done using electronic communications interactively. To achieve it, we must leave behind the constraints of first-decade PC technology, keyboard dependence, text orientation, standalone computing. And we must enter a type of computing where all forms of data can be easily shared in a real-time communications environment from anywhere to anywhere else. What's required for computer-supported collaboration is that everyone is connected via their PC. The PC can deal with natural data, and all this is achieved without you being chained to your desk. What might the world of computer-supported collaboration be like? Let me try to illustrate this concept by painting a picture of a future day at Intel. As you all know, Intel builds microprocessors. Let's walk through quickly and describe how we manufacture them. Our factories build wafers. These wafers go through many elaborate steps in the manufacturing process. At the end, we get all these little squares. Each is a potentially good microprocessor. This is what one of them looks like. The pattern that you see here hides enormous complexity and very, very fine lines of different materials. Recently, our company started a brand new plant in Ireland. This was a very big project. A plant like this takes 3 years to 4 years to construct and costs well over $500 million. In order to bring it online, we had to train more than 100 engineers from Ireland in the fine art of the silicon fabrication process. We sent many of them to get this training to where the process was developed in the first place, our development site in Oregon. There's a lot more to silicon fabrication than the written specifications. Lots of art and craft, sometimes bordering on black magic, is involved. Our Irish engineers learned as much as they could while they were stationed in the United States and then went back to start up their factory. So far, the story is actually true. Now, let's stretch our imagination a bit. Imagine that we are well underway with the production of the i686 microprocessor. But then, in spite of all our planning and training, as we begin production in Ireland, our yields, which represent the percentage of these chips that are good, suddenly drop. Now, let me introduce the individuals who will enact what's coming next. This is Dr. Craig Barrett, our Executive Vice President, who is in charge of making sure that the 686s reach our customers steadily and predictably. Craig is obviously not a happy man. That is because Craig is preparing to meet with a very important special customer. He wants to find out what exactly the problem is at this Irish plant and get some idea of how quickly it can be solved so he can explain it to the customer. It's 5 p.m. where Craig is, but that means it's really 1 a.m. in Ireland, too late for a phone call. So Craig sends an electronic message to Jim O'Hara. Jim is a manager in our Irish fabrication or fab plant, and the message asks him for details on what the problem is. Before we get through this problem, you'll see that Jim will need the help of Dr. Sunlin Chow, the head of our technology development group. Jim has done a lot of tossing and turning, worrying because he knows that there's a problem in his fab. He really starts to sweat, however, when he sees the mail from Craig, waiting for him at the office first thing in the morning. He decides to double his efforts. The first step is to get some sophisticated data on the problem, so he takes a scanning electron microscope, or SEM, picture and requests a chemical analysis of the problem area on the chip. The scanning electron microscope is a complicated gadget that can magnify those fine lines in a microprocessor up to 100,000 times their real size. They will show any damage that might be happening to them in the manufacturing process. After a long day, Jim gets the photograph he needs and sets out to send it to Sunlin with a desperate request for his help. Now that we have our scenario set in place, let's look at how the problem would be solved with today's technology. Jim would have to send the photograph to Sun Lin via Overnight Express. After several calls back and forth discussing the problem, Sun Lin would end up getting on a plane to Ireland to help fix the problem. In the meanwhile, several valuable days would pass. And very importantly, Sun Lin would have to disrupt his efforts working on the technology of the i786 microprocessor for days, not even counting jet lag. Well, instead, let's try to illustrate how we might solve this problem more easily through the use of computer-supported collaboration. And this is where I ask you to please cross your fingers for us. By bridging the time and space barriers, computer-supported collaboration can dramatically speed up problem solving. Jim starts by sending the scanning electron microscope picture together with the chemical analysis to Sun Lin on the computer network, along with a message asking for help. As Jim in Ireland leaves the fab plant in the evening, it's morning of the same day in Oregon. Sun Lin logs into his computer and finds the message from Jim with the scanning electron microscope picture and chemical analysis. While he's examining it, he also receives a call from Craig, who's phoning from the airport to get an update before flying off to his meeting with the customer.
Hello, Sun Lin here.
Hi, Sun Lin. This is Craig. Have you got any more information on that Fab 10 problem? You know, I've got to be over at Apple tomorrow to commit those 686 deliveries.
Yes, Craig, I've received the SEM data from Jim, and in fact, I'm looking at it now. Craig, if you have your computer chalkboard with you, I'd like to show you the information and get your opinion on it.
Of course, I've got the chalkboard. You know, Andy doesn't let me leave home without it.
I thought so. Well, while you're doing that, I'll set up my chalkboard also.
Now, Craig logs onto the Intel network through a wireless connection and brings up on his notebook screen the same photomicrograph and chemical analysis that is on Sun Lin's screen. And let me parenthetically tell you that Craig is in fact logging on to this network through a real wireless connection. Both Craig and the wireless are battery operated. There isn't any wire connecting Craig. I realize you can't look under his seat to anything else.
I've got it up, Sun Lin.
Okay, well, I'm going to start sending you the SEM image. All right, it should be coming your way, and I think you'll find this quite interesting and revealing, Craig, especially the chemical analysis information. It might even bring back some old memories, not necessarily fond ones, unfortunately.
Okay, I've got the image now.
Okay, let me see. Perhaps we could set ourselves up in drawing mode. I'd like to set myself up in a drawing mode using a blue pen. And I know you have a monochrome screen, but on mine, what I draw will come out in blue, and what you draw should come out in red. Nice to have color here. So anyway, if you look at the right side of the screen, you'll see a visual image of the particle, which I'm annotating with a blue circle right now. And that particle is resting right on the metal itself. It's a good bet that the metal sputtering system is involved.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, if you look at the impurity measurements you've got over on the left side of that micrograph, especially the calcium and the magnesium, those are indicative of that wafer stopper problem we had with the sputterer last year. Do you think it could be the same issue?
You remembered. Yes, I'm afraid that it's probably the same thing. I came to the same conclusion.
A sputterer is one of those million-dollar machines that we decorate our fab areas with, and a wafer stopper is a critical part of the sputterer. Now, Sun Lin wants to relay this conversation with Craig back to Jim O'Hara in Ireland and uses voice annotation to quickly summarize things.
Okay, so I'll click on the speech icon to call on the voice recorder, and now if I activate the record button, I should be able to record myself. Here we go. Jim, the chemical analysis indicates that the particle came from a worn-out wafer stopper in your metal sputtering system. I'll send you video instructions on how to fix it.
Sun Lin is going to actually embed this voice annotation in the microphotograph file that he received from Jim and annotate it via the chalkboard conference with Craig. So he will then create a mail message to Jim which will include this annotated photograph. Just think about it for a moment, how much data is included in such a high-resolution graphic file, not to mention the audio file. But these are the type of files we'll be moving around our networks on a regular basis in the very near term. Now, what you have just seen is an example of real-time problem solving assisted by a computer network. Sun Lin in Oregon and Craig on the road have been able to share data in real time, helping get to a solution more quickly. As you all know, it's often faster to say something rather than to try to type a message, and Sun Lin is going to take advantage of that technology with this voice annotation, but we're not done yet. Sun Lin knows that Jim, in spite of the training he has gotten, will need assistance in replacing the part in the sputterer. So what he next needs to do is forward a training video about how to work with the sputterer. He will search a training video database to find the particular video that addresses the wafer stopper replacement process. When Sun Lin finds the proper video, he previews it to ensure that it's the current information.
Okay, I've just written a sentence to explain that the video training segment is going to be attached, and now I need to go and look for that segment. So let's move this window down. And let's take a look at what's in the training video library. Just what I wanted here. Replacing the defective part. We must have done this before. Okay, let's enlarge that and look for the video icon. I like icons. Here, there we go. There's the video icon, and click twice on that, and we should see the video come on soon.
Finally, we'd like to remove the glass impregnated Teflon stopper. This is the source of our calcium and magnesium contamination, which we found is a defect problem. And what we'd like to do is replace this with the polytetrafluoroethylene stoppers, which does not contain any filler material. This is our best method for contamination control.
Okay, well, that's it. Let me next embed it in the message. Move that aside. Close out a couple of windows here, or minimize them anyway, so that I can get back to my original mail message.
Now, Sun Lin will add this video that he pulled out of the database to his message to Jim. You're probably beginning to realize we are building quite an email document here, but this is what real-life decisions require. They require a lot of different types of information in many different forms. Now, when Sun Lin previewed the video, he realized that this video is not really up to date with the equipment in the new fab plant. He knows that the part that needs to be replaced has been redesigned, and he needs to show Jim what the new part, the new wafer stopper, looks like. So he records a message using his desktop video camera.
Okay. What I'll do is turn on the monitor first and see how I look in it. Well, okay. I'll have to position myself carefully here, because I have to show him what the new part really looks like, and let's hope that the camera can focus on it. Okay. Now, all right, let's try it. Press record. Jim, the original part looks like this. Replace it with a new design, the latest one, which looks like this. Good luck, Jim.
Now Sun Lin takes this modification, a video ECO, for those of you who don't know that language, and adds it to the message as well. So what you have now seen, that Sun Lin has prepared an email to Jim that now includes the annotated scanning electron microscope photograph, the voice annotation, a pre-recorded video file, and the newly recorded video file. He sends this package off knowing that he's been able to make a contribution to the solution of this problem without having to get up from his desk in Oregon. So, The next morning, and it's Ireland, and Sunderland is fast asleep. Jim will come up from a troubled night of tossing and turning and comes in and sets up to read his emails.
Okay, the start of a sunny October morning in Ireland. Let's see what we have in the email system here. Take me a few minutes to get cranked up. Here we go. Okay, I've got a memo from Sun Lin. Hopefully this will save me and fix the problems. Let's see. Okay, I maximize it. All right, I have a series of memos here from Sun Lin, and I'm going to go through it, step through them, and we'll see what he has for me. I'm starting with the chalkboard. Hopefully that'll be coming up in a minute. The little green light is clicking away here, so something's happening. Okay. Okay, I see here the SEM, the original SEM that I sent Sun Lin. It's marked up, identifying the problem area. It's got a voicemail message here. Let's have a look at that. Play.
Jim, the chemical analysis indicates that the particle came from a worn-out wafer stopper in your metal sputtering system. I'll send you video instructions on how to fix it.
Okay, I knew that was the problem all the time. Okay, click my way out of here, go down, and let's see this training video that Sun Lin sent.
Finally, we'd like to remove the glass-impregnated Teflon stopper. This is the source of our calcium and magnesium contamination, which we found is a defect problem. And what we'd like to do is replace this with the polytetrafluoroethylene stoppers, which does not contain any filler material. This is our best method for contamination control.
Okay, I'm going to go on now to the update that Sun Lin talked about, and if that works, then hopefully it'll be able to fix the problem for me. Let's have a look.
Jim, the original part looks like this. Replace it with a new design, the latest one, which looks like this. Good luck, Jim.
Good luck.
Well, armed with all this new information from the experts, Sun Lin and Craig, Jim and his team work all day fixing the sputter and process a new batch of wafers. After the fix is implemented, yields improve dramatically, and Jim prepares to send a message to Craig.
Okay, round 2 in Ireland, second day. Let's see if we can get a message off to Craig to explain that we fixed the problem. Oops.
And while Craig is sitting in the customer's lobby waiting for his meeting, checking his email
Okay, as I
again, getting really nervous. Our track record of this particular customer has not been well established yet.
Okay, hopefully I can send this message to Craig before he goes talk to the customer. Let's see, can we do it here?
I hope so too.
And voila.
I certainly hope it's from Jim about this yield problem. Well, let's see. Hey, here it is. Jim O'Hara. Let's take a look at that. Get that up and see what it says. Come on, baby. You may now commit timely shipments to the customer. All right, the contamination problem has been solved. Boy, that's good news. I think I'll just send him a nice little message back. Reply. Let me pull the paintbrush up here. And I don't want to waste any words with Mr. O'Hara. Let's just send him a little message that anybody can understand.
Let me recap what we've accomplished here using the PC architecture. We shipped natural data types around a computer network, sound, pictures, and video. We used a portable computer with a wireless communications to join the network from anywhere, some of the time, which allowed document sharing in real time. We used all the favorite buzzwords of the day. We used objects, multimedia, groupware, and client-server computing as foundation technologies. But please give me credit. I've gone this far without using any of those words. Nevertheless, all these technologies and more were quietly working in the background, enabling PCs, ordinary 486-based PCs, to rise to the demand of just-in-time business. This is what the second decade of the PC will be all about. Just-in-time business made possible by computer-supported collaboration. No more time wasted waiting for the overnight mail, or being chained to fax machines, or, best of them all, flying thousands of miles for a short meeting. Eliminating the barriers of space and time while working with shared information will finally change the way businesses, not just individuals, work. As businesses spread out around the globe, information proliferates, and competition grows ever more intense, computer-supported collaboration will become perhaps the most important source of competitive advantage. For the past several months, more than 30 engineers from 15 different companies invested several man-years of work and sacrificed many sleepless nights, not to mention vacations, to pull this set of demonstrations off. We didn't need any breakthrough technologies to make this work. All the pieces we needed to do exist in the laboratories in one form or another, but they exist today. If all of us dedicate ourselves to a similar degree as these individuals, to turning our technologies, our existing technologies, to the solution of real business problems, and work hard to integrate the pieces so we can bring this stuff to the market, we can build ourselves a second decade that will be even more exciting than the first one. Thank you very much.